Welcome to the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. This is a special edition. It's the AAA Boys State Championship, Division 6. It's Lloyd C. Bird visiting Halifax County. Good evening, I'm Dave Bird along with Roger Cassim, who is substituting for Willie Lanier, who's a little bit under the weather, and we are in South Boston at Tuck Dillard Memorial Stadium for this game today. It'll be the last football game of the season for both of these teams, no matter who wins, and to say that it's going to be an exciting football game, I guess would understate it. What do you really look for today, Roger?
You have two very, very good teams. Both teams able to run the ball, move the ball well. Offensively, two good, tough defenses. I think they're going to need to feel each other out early and try to get over the early game tension and emotion and just settle down and play the kind of ball that they've done all year.
Okay, now you can have it the way you've always wanted it. You get to be coach of either football team. Let's start with Lloyd C. Bird. Now, they're a big team, but possibly a little bit slower than Halifax County. What do you do early in the game to establish yourself?
I don't think you're going to see Bird, and if I were in control of them, I don't think I'd get away from anything that they've done all year. You've got a great complement of weapons with the running backs, Kadrick and Vineyard. I'm going to try to make them stop what we've been able to do all year. As far as Halifax goes, they have the great speed at wide receivers. They're able to get the ball in the air and make the big play there, as shown by the statistics with the receivers and the quarterbacks.
We've talked to both of the coaches, and we expect that both of the teams look surprisingly loose. We saw Halifax County before the game, and that was Roger's first comment. Boy, these guys look really loose.
Well, you know, the coaches have emphasized that they've done the work to get here. This is the reward. This is the icing. Regardless of what happens now, they both had fine seasons, and they just want to go out and have fun, and one of them wants to be state champion. But either way, they can both be proud of what they've accomplished. When
we come back, we'll have the coin toss on the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week Special Edition. It's the state championship.
Do you have your UCrops valued customer card?
Sure do.
Thank you.
Saving money is as easy as child's play with UCrops valued customer card.
Every home should have one.
can call BT12 on your side.
And welcome to the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Dave Bird with our substitute color guy, Roger Cassim, with us. And I do want to say this special edition of the Chippenham Sports Medicine Game of the Week, the State AAA Division 6 Finals, is being brought to you by Spencer Brothers Incorporated. They're a Lloyd Bird neighborhood distributor of gasoline, fuel oil, and they're a complete 24-hour service for heating and air conditioning needs. And we thank them for the extra special sponsorship that they gave us for tonight's broadcast. Roger, as we get ready for the game, one of the things that we wanted to touch on was that the star quarterback for the Comets of Halifax County experienced a bit of a muscle pull last week and didn't practice all week.
That's right, Dave. What I've been able to find, he was hurt in the South Lakes game. A little bit of a muscle pull in his right shoulder. He didn't throw up until Thursday. And with his statistics, he's going to be a big weapon for Halifax today. So if he can't go full speed, that could have a definite impact on the game.
The Comets of Halifax County are a very powerful offense. They've never scored less than 20 points. In all the games this season, they've scored at least 20 points, and they have never given up more than 20 points. And, well, you put those two statistics together, and you get an undefeated 13-0 season. The Skyhawks of Lloyd Bird, who will wear white today, have a 12-1 record. The only loss came in overtime against cross-Chester rival Thomas Dale. And there's a comment that I meant to make last week and didn't, is that the sportsmanship showed by Thomas Dale was excellent prior to last week's game at Bird. They had a big sign out in front of Thomas Dale that said, "Good luck, Skyhawks," and I think that's the kind of class operation that they have there, and everybody in Chesterfield, and I guess now all of Richmond is rooting for Lloyd Bird. We're getting close to game time now. It's 2 o'clock as we record the game. You'll see it, of course, now in the evening, same day, Saturday. And there was a kind of a touching moment before the game today as they remembered 50 years ago today, Pearl Harbor, a very poignant moment in American history. And, of course, it adds a little bit of extra emotion to people's edges today. And, of course, then you've got a lot of young kids out here who that is not as important to them. What's important to them is this is the biggest day of their life, Roger. They play all season for this opportunity.
It's been a long season. I know the teams are thrilled to death to be here, but I know at the same time, come Sunday when they've had a chance to relax a little bit, they're going to feel the relief of the season finally being over and being able to look back and appreciate the memories that they've made this year.
I believe, as we saw the indication, that the Comets won the toss and deferred their choice to the second half. Or rather, they've chosen to receive, rather, as Lloyd Bird will be kicking off and moving from right to left today. Back in deep formation to the near side of the field for Halifax County, number 41, Rudy Barksdale. And 44 to the far side of the field is Tyrone Holt. A couple of running backs we will see. And we are underway as Mac Valdez's kick goes to the far side of the field. That's number 44, Tyrone Holt. He's still underway. He's a dangerous runner, and he's finally brought down as he crosses the 30-yard line to about the 34, and that's where the Comets will take over on offense. Roger, what do you do if you're these teams to try to loosen up? I mean, they've got to be tight. You have to be nervous for a game like this.
Well, you got to start out with your just your basic plays, basic defense. They're going to have to feel each other out for a while, but you're right. They're very nervous right now, but that'll go away quickly. Get that first hit in, get rid of the butterflies.
Aaron Brand is the quarterback. He's the guy that suffered a bit of an injury, a little bit of a muscle pull last week. This is an explosive offense. They'll run wishbone and power eyes, single backs, two backs. They don't care. They have a lot of different looks, and I think that's one thing that Lloyd Bird will have to contend with today, and that is their ability to adjust to the different formations and patterns that are thrown at them by the Comets of Halifax County. They start with a formation which they immediately break out of. No sense in describing the first one as they go triple receivers to the left. The lone running back in the backfield is number 24, or rather 34, Darryl Medley. He's more of the up the middle kind of guy. They say that Medley and Holt, the big guys, will go most basically up the front, and 41, Rudy Barksdale, is the guy with the good speed around the outside.
Looked like Halifax was trying to confuse Bird. Difficult deciding the strength in a one-back formation, so they tried to hide him by putting them all in the backfield and split them just as they came out.
Second down and 6, gain of 4 on first down for Halifax County. Just underway, just inside 11 minutes to play first quarter. Now to the power eye in the backfield. The pitch comes to the last man through. That's 41, Rudy Barksdale. Boy, has he got speed, and he uses it around the outside before he's finally pushed out of bounds deep into Lloyd C. Bird territory. A gain of about 25 yards on the play for Rudy Barksdale.
Looks like Halifax is going to give him a lot of different looks. That was a power eye formation that time to the left and just got everybody out in a sweep.
Barksdale averaging 7.8 yards a carry coming in and 20 touchdowns and 122 points during the year. Last week he had 9 carries, 56 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's a guy you've got to keep an eye on. He's also a capable pass receiver. It's 1st down and 10 now as they'll be operating from the 35-yard line of Lloyd C. Bird. Halifax County Comets took the initial kickoff and have carried it ever since as the clock continues to tick. Actually, it stopped with 10:43 on the out-of-bounds play.
Looks like Eddie Mullins, number 5 for the Skyhawks, is shaken up. They're going to hold up play here for a second just to help him off the field.
He's a guy they can ill afford to lose on defense as Mullen comes into the game, the 3rd leading tackler on the Skyhawks squad. Hopefully he'll be back for the Skyhawks as the power eye once again is the formation in the backfield for Halifax County. They have a lot of weapons out of the backfield, and then they also have a good throwing game, which they likely will not go to unless needed, especially if the running game continues as it has. Here comes the pitch once again to Barksdale. This time it's to the right side. Great blocking, and Barksdale's away, and we have the first point scored of this game as Halifax County scores on a 34-yard scamper by Rudy Barksdale, and 6-0 is the lead for Halifax County.
Tell you, he looked like the quarterback, Brand, saw something there and audibled right at the line. It was the same play, the sweep, but this time to the right side. And he probably saw something. It looked like a linebacker may have been walked up trying to blitz. That kid has great, great speed. And it looks like he's starting out with a big day.
And now the extra point try for Halifax County. Here comes their kicker, Gary Colwell. And it's good. That makes it 7-0 in favor of Halifax County as they have struck only 1 minute and 26 seconds into the first quarter. And Lloyd Bird uncharacteristically will have to operate from behind in this game as Halifax County is on the move already. Are you surprised at all with what you've seen so far, Roger?
I'm really surprised at the way they're able to get outside. This team has a lot more speed than I think anyone that we have seen in the region. And, boy, that Barksdale can run. But, you know, Bird's going to have to respond. They're going to have to bounce right back with a touchdown. That's what this is all about, these state championship games. I don't think you really expected to shut out an offense like this. They're averaging over 30 points a game. And we'll see if they can respond and maybe control the ball, keep it out of Halifax's hands for a while. They're going to need to do that.
It's a little bit more difficult, though, for a ball control offense to operate from behind because you're trying to eat up time as much as anything, and time works against you when you're behind.
That's true, but we're so very early now in the game with 10:34 in the first quarter. They still have plenty of time to come right back, and they need to answer.
An answer they will attempt to do is now Halifax County will be kicking off. Gary Colwell, the kicker, addresses the ball, handed to him by one of the officials. Ron Cherry is our referee today for the game. Frank McCain, Rudy Rice, Roscoe Hatton, Chris Brown, and Dan Farrell will be working the game. 6 officials today. That's one more than usual as they are keeping an extra eye on this state championship game. Division 6 AAA action from Halifax County this afternoon. In the darker uniforms, another Carolina blue team. There's Colwell's nice high kick. It's over to the right-hand side. Scooter Harris has it. He's off and running. If he can keep the speed up, it'll be up to the kicker to tackle him. He continues to move. The kicker has a line on him and just is able to upset him on the run back as Scooter Harris. No, make that
looks like Quincy Waller.
Sorry, saw the 4. Thought it was Scooter. It was Quincy Waller who took it up the right-hand side of the field. And Bird breaks back with the big play. And if the kicker hadn't stopped him, I think that would have been 6 points.
I tell you, if this is indicative of what we're going to see today, we're going to have a lot of fun. This might be a track meet.
It sure will, and it's exactly the opposite of what we'd expect because both of these teams' defenses have responded to the challenge the last couple of weeks. Operating from the 15-yard line, here's Bodenhammer, the quarterback for Lloyd Bird. T formation, Bodenhammer keeps.
Oh, my goodness, Bodenhammer, big, strong boy.
Stacked up pretty seriously at the line of scrimmage for at least no gain, if not a little bit of a loss.
They'll probably mark him with some forward progress there. He had Big Tim Wade in front of him, and he pushed ahead and got a little bit there. He may have gained about 3.
Now, if you do a quarterback sneak on a first series like that, are you trying to set something up? You trying to make them think about something?
Well, you look at the formation there, and they're in their power formation, full T backfield, and they're just trying to show they can hammer it straight ahead. They're going to see if the horses can do the job.
Bodenhammer, this time inside to Kadrlik. He gets down inside the 10-yard line, down near the 5.
Straight ahead to Kadrlik. I couldn't tell if there was a trap block in there. They're just running behind the big boys.
Well, as we haven't said it this week, but we've said it before in watching Lloyd Bird, they almost always have an advantage coming off the line of scrimmage in terms of their weight. Coming to this game, their line of scrimmage, or their line averages, well over 200 pounds and up near 6 feet, and they usually outweigh their competition, and that's where they like to win the games. 3rd down and 5. We're down to about 9 minutes left now in the first quarter. Clock continues to run. There's the handoff to Vineyard. He's down near the goal line. He stopped at about the 2-yard line.
It's just a straight-ahead ISO play that should get him the first down and set him up in nice position inside the 5. I tell you, Wade gets a lot of the attention. He's a fine ball player, but Jody Parham is also an excellent, excellent ball player up there on the line.
And indeed, Parham got the accolades this year. I know that he was first-team all-region on offense, also plays on defense, and he's just another integral member of a very good offensive line. Here's Bodenhammer, the quarterback. Ready to take the snap, barking the signals. This time giving inside to Kadrlik again.
Kadrlik hammers down. He's down about the 1-yard line. They're still running behind the center there, right behind that guard center gap.
And you mentioned Tim Wade. Now, he's a guy that last year was second-team All-State. This year, he improved on that. He's first-team All-State, and he's going to be highly touted as far as a college choice next year.
Right, and I want to point out, too, Parham has just been named today to the second-team All-State team.
As Bird sets up, here's their second down play. Very close to the goal line, once again with their T formation. Here's Vineyard right. He's got the room, and he's got the touchdown, it looks like. Waiting for an official signal, and here it comes. And just as simple as that, with 7 minutes and 59 seconds left to play, Lloyd Bird strikes back just about a minute, or rather 2.5 minutes later than the score by Halifax County. And you're right, Roger, this has been pretty high scoring for these teams.
Well, with the excellent run back, a while there, set them up in great field position, and then they just did what they did best, hammered it in.
High snap, it's down for Owen, blocked. And nobody will get anything out of this, and that could be important as the score stands at 7-6. Lloyd Bird now on the scoreboard, and Halifax County has the lead. Hey, listen, if you'd like to get yourself a copy of this game, the final one of the season, on VHS cassette, we'd be happy to send it to you. Normally, that would cost you quite a bit, but our good friends at Chippenham Sports Medicine have defrayed the $39.95 cost. For just $5 shipping and handling, it could be yours. Send your check to Game of the Week, 1403 Huguenot Road, Midlothian, 23113. Make sure you mention which game it is you want. And, of course, this one will be tough to forget which one it is. It's the state championship game. There's no more after this one. As we mentioned before, it's an absolutely gorgeous day for football. While the field may look a little brown, Roger and I walked around earlier, and with this Bermuda grass, it looks like it's still got a lot of life in it.
Nice turf. It's going to be a fast track. It's in excellent shape. It's a little bit soft, but that's just going to make for better footing. I'll tell you, that extra point is going to figure very, very big as this game goes on. It's going to affect the strategy, make decisions on 4th down plays, whether they go for field goals or go for it on 4th.
Well, we said the same thing last week when First Colonial missed an extra point. It didn't really have much to do with the game when Bird scored 31 points and they only had that 9. So we'll see.
That's the best way to alleviate that problem. Let's see if they can do that.
Let's be open-minded. It could be a factor. That's the voice of Roger Cassim, Manchester High School's head coach, as you would normally be hearing Willie Lanier. He's a little under the weather, laryngitis, the flu, and I know he'd like to be here, and if he's watching the broadcast, which I'm sure he will he get better? Mike Valdez's kick comes up short. Let's see who takes it. Short man takes it and drops it. That was number 45, who's George Boyd.
He's still fighting for yardage.
And made a nice play to recover the ball and get the best out of it he could. And he's back out to the 35-yard line, and that's where Halifax County will take over. Quincy Waller has really brought the Skyhawks back into this game, as he really did the tough stuff on about a 65 or so yard return of the kickoff after Halifax County scored. Let's see now that Halifax has the ball, whether their offense goes for that big play as well, and they are certainly capable of it. Power I formation in the backfield again for Halifax County. Give goes to the second man through. That's Tyrone Holt, number 44, getting up off the bottom of the pile, a senior, 232 pounds. He's 6'2", averaging 5.2 yards a carry coming into this game today.
Holt is very comparable to Bird's Ben Kadrlik. He's just a big, tough runner, plus 200 pounds. He's able to bowl straight ahead. Halifax wants to show they can do that too.
Gain of about 3 on the play. Let's call it 2nd down and 7. They'll need to get to the 45-yard line for the first down. Once again, they see the power I. Passing for the first time, there's Brandt back to go. He's got a man with a little bit of room. Unfortunately, he overthrew his receiver. That's number 20, Matt Wallace. He's the go-to big play guy. And I didn't think it would be too long before we saw Halifax County try to see what they could do with the bomb, because they are capable of it.
Now, Aaron Brand's shoulder didn't look too bad right there. He just mistimed that with Wallace, and that keeps him honest. Now they've got to back off a little bit and respect that.
We expected to see a lot of man coverage after talking to Dutch Skrotenboer. That's the way he intends to defend this big play team. And man coverage breaks down if you give him enough time, and that'll be the key here. Will they be able to keep the pressure on Brandt? Here comes the rush. They do rush him a little bit, but he finds his receiver over the middle, Terrence Jennings, and he is right around the first down marker. Let's see how they mark it. He initially looked like he had the first down, but then turned a little bit inside, and he may have been tackled short of the first down.
That's exactly right. He needs to keep an eye on where his first down marker is, know how deep to run the route, and then stay there. He did try to loop back. It was the inside receiver there in the trips formation to the right.
He had a lot of room. They had cleared out nicely for him, and he'd come on the underside of the zone, and it was wide open. Nice coverage by Bird to get back to him and tackle him near the first down, and I believe they'll have to pull the chains out to get a measurement on this play.
I tell you what, Dave, you made a comment that is going to be very, very true. If they can't get to Brandt, then that's fine. The man-to-man will work. If they cannot, they're going to find a lot of difficulty in covering receivers like Jennings and Wallace. They just have a lot of speed. I think Wallace is averaging almost over 22 yards of reception on the season. Brandt is averaging over 21 yards a pass completion. And man-to-man's great if you can stay on him, but they protect this quarterback pretty well.
By about the length of the football, it is not a first down. So Halifax County will have to go for it now on fourth down. Brings up the fourth down.
It's been an interesting call here. Might be a time to try to get a cheap one this early in the game, though. I don't know.
Bird will no doubt be playing for the short game. Get their linebackers up tight. We'll see what happens. Once again, the power I in the backfield for Halifax County. And there's some delay on the field as the officials resetting the ball.
I wonder if they might not just try to draw them off on this play.
That's a possibility. Fourth down and short. Halifax County has it. Brandt hands it to his tailback. And good for the first down is Rudy Barksdale. Nothing pretty, just what they needed. 2-3 yards right through the right off the right tackle, and Halifax County is still alive on their first fourth down conversion.
Barksdale just ran behind Tyrone Holt, the big linebacker. He also runs at fullback, and he effective lead blocker, so they're not afraid to test it. I've seen Bird test teams, First Colonial last week and several times during the season. I think they're 75% on their fourth down conversions.
First down and 10 as they approach midfield. 47-yard line is the line of scrimmage. Halifax County content to keep it on the ground except for two passes, one complete, one incomplete. Here's the pitch to the tailback. Once again, it's Barksdale. He's got some room around the outside and blockers too. Cuts back inside. Looks like he's going to rack himself up another touchdown. This guy is one excellent runner. Rudy Barksdale.
That's a great run. They put the power I back in motion to the left, use him as a lead blocker to the quick side. He headed up that left sideline and cut it back. He has great speed. This kid looks like a tremendous runner. I believe he was a second-team All-State selection for Halifax, and I can see why now. 20 touchdowns during the season. He's added 2 quick ones here.
Rudy Barksdale scores his second touchdown of the game. This one will go for 53 yards. The extra point is down, and Colwell kicks it. It's good, and that's 14 with 5 minutes and 49 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Boy, Rudy Barksdale is a one-man wrecking crew of the defense of the Lloyd Bird Skyhawks, I'll tell you that.
I think last week against South Lakes, the Halifax Comets scored on their first 5 possessions of the first half, and they're 2 for 2 today.
Well, that doesn't bode well for Bird. They had held them there initially, but let them get away with a couple of big plays. The fourth down, of course, a key there. So now Rudy Barksdale has 35 yards and 47 yards in his scoring drives. Colwell with 2 extra points, and now he'll kick off. He gets a nice high kick last week, had a couple into the end zone, made them very, very difficult to return.
Bird has 3 good threats back there in Vineyard, Waller, and Harris, so maybe they can put him in field position again.
Let's see what happens as you mentioned, Lloyd Bird lucky on the last kickoff to get a 60-some yard return from Quincy Waller. They could sure use it again, that's for sure. 5:49 yet to play here in only the first quarter. Lloyd Bird is not used to seeing 14 points on the scoreboard. That's more points in this game than they have given up in the entire season in the first quarter. Only 10 points that they've given up in the entire season in the first quarter. Now it's 14-6 with Halifax County ahead, and Lloyd Bird needs to get hold of this kick in good field position. It'll be tough, though, as it rolls along, and once again, Quincy Waller is the man who picks it up. Doesn't seem to have quite as much running room this time, and indeed is snowed under by a host of defenders back around the 20-yard line, and that's where Lloyd Bird's going to start out this drive.
Well, you're exactly right. They really strung him along. And number 30 for Halifax came in and really laid a lick on him, Eric Vass.
Clock is rolling. Lloyd Bird has it. Skyhawks on offense now. Once again, conservative backfield, although this time an I formation. Here comes the pitch. It's to Vineyard, trying to find some running room behind his lead blocker. Ball is loose. Let's see who gets it. You see the referee down on the bottom of the pile. Actually, that's Rudy Rice, the linesman.
Halifax has it. Vineyard trying to cut back inside.
See the indication. Last week, Lloyd Bird, 4 fumbles lost. That was not a good sign, although they went on to win. This week, they can ill afford fumbles against this kind of a quality team.
Especially at this point in the game. You can't give Halifax the opportunity to go up by 2 touchdowns. Vineyard was just trying to make something happen. He's a great runner, and that's very uncharacteristic for him to cough the ball up like that.
And with the turnover and just a little under 5 minutes left here in the first quarter, Halifax County once again on the drive. Looked like an offensive lineman got offside a little bit too quickly there as the handoff eventually came to Tyrone Holt.
So the right tackle for Halifax got a little over anxious. They're staying at 2 tight end and a full house backfield. They're mixing up their formations very well. This team has a lot of weapons.
That'll bring up a second down. After the penalty, it'll be, or rather, first down at 15.
False start. Offense.
That's the first penalty of the game, and it's against Halifax County, 5 yards.
I think you need to look now to Wallace for a pass attempt. This is good field position to do it on 1st and 15. They might want to try it.
Let's see what happens. Very explosive offense for Halifax County, and this is the time. You see the motion already. Jets Jennings going left. Back to passes. Brandt under pressure. Let's see what happens as the ball is up, and almost a beautiful catch by Daryl Medley over coverage. As we've said, the pressure's the key thing to that man-to-man defense.
Ben Kajulik and Ryan Sharkey putting great pressure on Brandt on that play. He just had to throw it away. He was lucky to get it off.
Now let's see what we've got on the clock. 4 minutes, 27 seconds on the incomplete pass. It stops at 2nd down and 15.
2nd and long. You'll probably see that trips formation as they try to open it up a little bit. The way Barksdale runs on the sweeps, though, they may just kind of try to camouflage it.
They come to the line of scrimmage in the I formation. Their go-to receiver, Matt Wallace, to the left. Terrence Jennings to the right. Fakes the quick pass. Up the middle on a nice running play. That's Daryl Medley. Very sophisticated disguising of the play there. And when everybody thought that was a passing down, Brett gave him the pass look and bang, right up the middle.
It's like a quick draw up the middle. He just made the quick fake out to the flanker and then handed off.
My mistake. It was Wilkins in on the play. In on that play only, Joe Wilkins. Give him credit with the carry.
That shows Halifax's depth. He's not even listed as one of the top runners. Clark would be the 3rd one coming in, and Wilkins came in and did a great job up the middle.
3rd down and short, about 2 yards to go. Halifax County has mixed it up very nicely, inside, outside, a few passing plays, keeping Bird ill at ease. Power I formation. Here comes number 44, Tyrone Holt, still on his feet as the Bird pursuers finally tackle him for a big loss. They kept him on his feet long enough to generate a bigger loss, and it'll be 3rd down and short to go. Or rather, 4th down and not so short to go. It was 3rd and short. Now it's going to be 4th, and with a loss of about 6 yards, let's call it 4th down and 8. And here's a moment of truth for Halifax County.
Might get a chance to see Gary Colwell, the kicker, come in. Nope, they're not going to do it. He has a fine leg, though. I might not hesitate to use him in this situation.
Halifax County with no resistance. They're going for it. Near side is Jennings. Wallace left. I formation. Back to passes, Brandt. There it goes over the middle to no one, as it's definitely thought his receiver was going to be turning left. And indeed, Matt Wallace kind of turned right, and the ball falls for an incomplete pass.
Didn't look like he had it very clear what his receiver was going to do in that situation. They may have been trying a route adjustment versus the man coverage. He had a lot of pressure, and he may have just been throwing it away. Now Bird needs to take the ball and drive it down the field and see if they can't at least establish some offense, if nothing else.
They have really not done, as you said, Roger, what you would expect of them to have done by now, and that would be their ball control offense, and it just hasn't been appropriate. They've been in trouble, and they had Vineyard fumble on the last series. Let's see if they can establish it now out of the split backfield. That's Jason Vineyard off the right side.
Using all three backs in just T formation, leading with Kadrlik, Harrison there, and they're getting good yardage with Vineyard.
Well, one of the things that we noticed in the statistics is that Kadrlik's numbers were down from last year, and Vineyard's were up, which kind of leads you to believe that he may have been giving up a bit of himself in order to get that offense running. And indeed, you generally see whichever way Kadrlik goes, it's usually number 22, Vineyard, who's following him, following that lead block.
It's like having another lineman in front of him coming out of the backfield. But Kadrlik is very unselfish and is willing to do that.
And indeed, he does play the defensive line, so he knows what's going on out there.
And just as we speak about him, he gets a little bit of a quick start, and I think it's going to be a legal shift on the offense.
Let's see what happens, as that play would not have been good for the first down anyway. And we have a preliminary indication that it was an illegal shift on the offense. Good call, Roger. And that'll back them up for near 2nd and 10. Looks like a 2nd and 9 after the penalty. Bird has the ball. They are trailing 14-6. Rudy Barksdale, running back for Halifax County, has accounted for 2 touchdowns, both pretty long. 135 yards, just less than 2 minutes into the game.
Illegal motion. Offense. Replay 2.
And his second touchdown at 5:49 of the first quarter was a 47-yarder. Make that a 53-yarder. I just remembered that was from the 47-yard line, 53-yarder. So he's chewing up some yardage out there today, and Bird will have to contain him when they're on defense, and they do need to generate some offense. Now 2nd down and 9. Movement along the defensive line, everybody legal. Here comes the handoff to the near side of the field, and buried under a pretty decent defensive effort there is Scooter Harris.
Looked like Bird just had the play called right into the blitz as Halifax was jumping along the line, and Harris tried to get what he could out of it. There just wasn't much there. 3rd and 8, they're going to have to probably try to get it to Sharkey some, but before you can go with the play action that Bird is so well known for, you're going to have to establish a running game.
Clock continues to roll. A little over a minute and a half left to play first quarter. Bird with the ball. Last time they had it, their series was abruptly ended by a Jason Vineyard fumble. Back to pass is Bodenhammer, rolling right and looking.
Play action to Sharkey, and it looks like it's intercepted.
And indeed it is. The man with the ball is number 33 on defense. And that, of course, is Joe Wilkins, a guy who's a spare part on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And he's come up with a big play, an interception inside Lloyd Bird's territory with a little over a minute left to play in the quarter.
Wilkins had 2 interceptions last week against South Lakes. He adds 1 today, and that's just what I was talking about. The play action is very effective for Bird, but not in that situation. The running game has not been established well enough yet, and you just need to be patient at this point. Now they've given him field position again, and they've got to be able to stop Halifax this series.
The defensive Lloyd Bird continues to spend lots of time on the field as the clock reaches the 1 minute to go mark in quarter number 1. There goes the handoff to Medley. Looks like for a second there he might have dropped the ball, but no, he was tripped behind the line of scrimmage.
Halifax has given Bird pretty much a mirror image of what we expected to see from Bird. They're just hammering up the middle, establishing ball control, and eating up the clock.
And I think man for man, not to diminish anything that's in the Lloyd Bird backfield, the runners coming out of the backfield of Halifax County are just some very dangerous characters. You've got Barksdale with a 7.8 yards average, Holt 5.2, Medley 5.4. Any one of them can definitely hurt you, no matter where they come from. 2nd down and 13. There's the motion man coming towards you. That's Holt. Pitch comes to the tailback, Barksdale. Boy, is he dangerous outside if they could let him get there, and indeed they do. He's good for the first down plus a couple of extra yards as Lloyd Bird is having trouble with the lateral pursuit.
Tell you, Ryan Sharkey got upfield. I thought he was in pretty good shape on that play, and next thing I know, he's getting put to the ground from behind. I didn't see if it was a clip or not, but he definitely was taken from behind.
And we're getting down to the end of the quarter here as the last few seconds are ready to tick off. 6, 5, and it looks like they will get no more plays off in this quarter. And as we end quarter number 1, the score is Halifax County ahead by a score of 14-6. And when we come back, we'll have second quarter action in the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. These are the state finals in Group 6 AAA football.
Bill, I know you want it straight. Your echocardiogram shows that the mitral valve of your heart is damaged. It's very serious. There is good news, Bill. Based on your tests, it looks like we may be able to repair your natural heart valve. It's a relatively new type of surgery we can do right here at Chippenham. Much better than valve replacement in a case like yours.
I just checked with the operating room, Mrs. Pierce. Everything is going well. But they'll be in there a while longer. They'll be doing some more testing to be sure the valve repair works properly. If you need anything, just ask. And try not to worry. He's going to bounce back in no time.
The Virginia Heart Center at Chippenham Medical Center. Advanced comprehensive cardiac care. Not only for the human body, but also for the human being.
You can have one. Anytime, anywhere. But you know that shot.
And we're back with second quarter action. And Roger, I tell you, Lloyd Bird's going to have to turn over a new leaf in this quarter. They've been a little bit dangerous, dangling the ball and interceptions and fumbles, and it's just not the kind of an effort that's going to win this game.
They held them back after the Vineyard fumble. Let's see if they can do it again here. You need to call on that defense, but you can only do it so many times before they're going to break.
Here they come once again out of the power I, which is what Halifax County has used a lot today. Aaron Brand, the quarterback. Once again to his tailback, Barksdale, doing what he likes to do, and that's get around the outside. And before they know it, Lloyd Bird is looking at another first down. Barksdale gets excellent acceleration, and not to forget about the contribution of the blockers. When a guy gets outside that unmolested, he's got a lot of help.
With Holt in front of him, you can say that again. That kid is a big, strong player. Barksdale is taking it up the middle. They look like they're off tackle or ISO plays, and then he's not seeing much there and bouncing it outside, and there's no contain to get to him. With his speed, you can't let him outside, but it's tough to stop him with the middle, too.
We're just underway in the second quarter. 14-6 is the score. I'm Dave Bird with Roger Cassim. Willie Lanier is a little under the weather today, and we have a timeout on the field, an official timeout of some sort, as they generally it's somebody's equipment or something like that that causes a little bit of a delay like that. Now they wind the clock. Our referee today, Ron Cherry. Halifax County Comets are in dark, and that's the Carolina-looking blue, and a very similar blue tone on the Lloyd Bird pants, as they're mostly in white today. Brandt, the quarterback, kind of a slow pitch, comes back to Medley. He's handled by the defense.
I believe that was Wilkins again.
Sorry, Joe Wilkins. Wasn't expecting to see him that much today, as we talked to the coach before the game and, you know, kind of felt what he was planning to do, and Wilkins was not a guy he had mentioned.
Terrence Jennings is coming out very wide in his receiver position, squaring off against Quincy Waller, 14 against 14, and it's going to create a situation where you might see him try to test Waller's ability to cover him one-on-one out there. At any rate, he's splitting wide enough where he's allowing them to sweep to that side, and Waller really can't get back in to help on contain.
Fortunately for me, Wilkins leaves the game. Medley's back in, so I have a better shot at calling the right name on this one. Here comes the pitch to number 25 out of the backfield. That's Robert Clark, and he gets a bit of a team meeting there with number 42, Kevin Brown, on defense.
First time they tried to run that sweep away from the split end side, tried to run it to the tight end side, and there wasn't much air that time.
10-21, and clock continues to roll in the first half. Second quarter action. Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. It's AAA Football Division 6. Lloyd Bird out of Chesterfield County and Halifax County, which is generally South Boston, the host team today, as they have been throughout all of the playoffs that they have won, and they've racked up some impressive offensive statistics while playing some decent defense. Single back offense now. 3 receivers come left. Back to pass is Brandt. Looking left. Finds his man. That's Rudy Barksdale. Generally, who does the running, this time is doing the receiving, and he'll be short of the first down.
Barksdale was the inside receiver in the trips formation there. He just ran an out pattern. Sharkey was playing a man-to-man, and he was able to stay right on him. That's not the sort of play they're going to get a lot of yardage out of there.
Clock continues to run. 9 minutes, 49 seconds, rather. It's stopped as they reset the ball once again. A bit of a slow game.
Offense. Penalty refuse. Hold.
It will now be 4th down as the holding penalty is refused. What do you think about that decision, Roger? You have your choice. They were looking at a 3rd down and 15. I guess that's long enough.
I tell you, Halifax isn't using their kicker very often, but in this situation, the holding penalty, if you accept it and can hold them, you're putting them out of field goal range. I haven't seen them make a decision to send the kicker out.
9 minutes, 49 seconds to play as Halifax County comes to the line of scrimmage, deciding once again to go for it on 4th down. Brandt, the quarterback. Single man in the backfield is Medley. Rolls right to pass. Has some time. Goes in the end zone. And it's intercepted. Might as well sit on that one. It's as good as a punt. As Quincy Waller comes up with the interception for Lloyd Bird. And they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, which was just about the line of scrimmage anyway.
So a couple of receivers go down on the play. No flags. I don't know if they just got feet tangled up. He basically was just throwing it and giving somebody a chance to run under it. That's twice now Bird's been able to hold back Halifax after giving up the ball deep in their own territory, and that bodes well for them if they can keep that up. Now the offense has to respond and answer the call to put some points on the board.
I do want to make mention that it was through the generosity of many of the Lloyd Bird fans that we were able to do this game this week, as they extended our funding for the Chippenham Sports Medicine Game of the Week to our 14th week of the season and our 15th game. And now it's Lloyd Bird, the Skyhawks, on offense. I formation, Kadrlik in front of Vineyard. Bodenhammer with the pitch back to Vineyard. Decides to cut back inside, now back out as the pursuit is strong, but now he's around the outside. And now Bird showing a bit of that speed with their fast back is Jason Vineyard, and he is out to the 35-yard line.
Jason does what he did what he does best there, just hiding behind those big blockers and those big linemen, bouncing it around, finally got some running room, took it outside and used the speed. I tell you, Holt is a real mobile linebacker, number 44 for Halifax. Ended up running him down on the sideline. Nice run by Vineyard. That's what they need.
Holt, of course, plays on both sides of the ball. Now that the Skyhawks have it with 9 minutes, 33 seconds to play, they would like to run out of most of this clock on this drive if they're able to, but they'd settle for a score in any fashion right about now. There you see Bodenhammer, the I formation. Waller is to the right. Here comes the pitch that way. Vineyard with it, cuts inside. He's ahead of his blockers a bit and pays the price for a short gain.
Continuing to work to the outside. They found something they like there, and they want to keep working at it. Surprised me a little bit given the size of their offensive line. They do outweigh Halifax, but really it's not that much. There's more of a height advantage than there is a weight advantage.
But when you have say a weight advantage of 10 pounds per man, it does add up a little bit when you pound it at them, the way Bird often does.
The only thing about that is the Halifax team plays very few players both sides of the ball.
Even though they are kind of a short squad with 37 players, they do manage to have an offensive set and a defensive set with not too many people doing otherwise. Here comes Kadrlik up the middle. It was a 2nd down and 6 play.
Nice little trap move again up the middle. Kadrlik gets good yardage, and they're getting a good mix now. Vineyard outside, Kadrlik up the middle. You can look for the play-action pass to come in here soon now.
This will be a 3rd down and short. Call it about 1.5 yards, 2 yards now.
I don't think you'll see it here, though.
Coming out for Bird, you see number 42, Kevin Brown. They go back to the T formation. Scooter Harris on the right side, Jason Vineyard on the left, and it's Ben Kadrlik in the middle behind Bodenhammer. Very conventional, very Lloyd Bird looking. Scooter Harris gets it. He'll be up near the 1st down. It looks like he's got it, but our angle's not perfect, and with the players standing along the sidelines, we'll have to see what the indication is, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a measurement. No, right off the bat, Ron Cherry indicates it's a 1st down.
Getting a right foot spot there, and that's what he needed. Kadrlik and Vineyard leading him. Scooter Harris right behind.
I always hear those coaches talking about left foot and right foot spots. You really think that it's possible that, it's not the same methodical spot every time?
No, I think they do use both feet.
1st down and 10. Skyhawks operating near the midfield stripe. Here's Jason Vineyard with it. Needs to hang on to that ball. That's his number 1 assignment, as he fumbled earlier in the 1st quarter, which was costly for the Skyhawks.
Same play this time to the opposite side. This time Vineyard carrying behind Kadrlik and the right halfback. 2nd down and 6. Might be a time to try to get it to Sharkey. They're in better field position now. They can open up their offense a little bit more.
And this is a little bit more like the Lloyd Bird drives that we've seen in prior games, eating up 3 and 4 yards per carry, and a lot of clock along with it as we're down, getting close to the 7-minute mark left to go in the 2nd quarter. It's a 2nd down play. There's 2 backs. No, it's a T formation in the backfield, rather, but they're back to pass. Bodenhammer, screen, finds Kadrlik, but so does the defense. He got a little bit ahead of his blockers. It wasn't really balanced correctly with him having some space between him and his blockers. He was like with them along the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. He never really fooled anybody too much on that play. Tight end Sharkey got downfield, but Halifax, I think, is going to hang near the line and feel like they can cover downfield.
Big Skyhawk contingent showed up today. They have a party bus out back here, and they've overflowed the stands. The field is ringed with people, several deep. The home stands are full, to be sure, and we're underway. Bodenhammer to pass, right side, has his receiver, David Stone.
Beautiful throw there. Just had a 12-yard out route. Robbie just scrambled. Well, he more of a rollout to the right, planted, put the ball right on the money. Good timing throw. He has a very strong arm, and he has been most effective in the playoffs with his passing.
And best of all for Lloyd Bird, it was placed in just the right spot to give them the first down, plus about a yard or two, and now they'll set up just inside the 45-yard line of the Comets from Halifax County.
Stone knew what he needed. He got the route at the proper depth. Bodenhammer's right on the money.
High formation in the backfield now. Bird continues to roll off the clock. We're down to 6 minutes. The pitch to Vineyard. Has to cut back. Makes a nice move to stay alive, but the defenders from Halifax County would see none of that, and he's dropped for a loss of about 3 or 4 yards.
A little too much penetration at the inception of the play. He was not able to really get going. When you string him along like that, Halifax pursues very well, and they were able to get to him.
Now, one of the weapons that Lloyd Bird is able to use, because they're a running team, is the play action. When do you use that weapon?
This situation now where you're getting out of a hole, I've established your running game to get a couple first downs, and they've just got a key on those running backs. And Sharkey will lull you to sleep, and then suddenly he's downfield before you know it.
It's a single back in the backfield now, Ben Kadrlik. Officials timeout on the field. David Stone's to the near side.
Like Spence Woodruff lost a piece of equipment there, had to go retrieve it.
Kevin Brown is to the far side, and Bodenhammer will pass. He's got Kadrlik blocking for him. Has a receiver, no, overthrows everybody, and that's fortunate because in the secondary there, it was Joe Wilkins who had a bit of a beat on that ball.
I'll tell you, he was throwing underneath to number 8, David Stone, I believe. He was running a curl route. He was open. Robbie had time to throw it. He just overstrided a little bit and let it sail on him. He has been very effective, like I said, in the playoffs, completing 17 passes. He only had 37 during the season, so he's almost gotten half of that.
Vineyard was out for that play. Now he's back in. Kadrlik will be the man who sits on this play. Once again, Stone is wide right.
Lloyd Bird in a little one-back look that trips receivers to the right here.
2 receivers in the slot. Brown and Waller. Bodenhammer rolling right with protection, but that won't last too much longer. Tries to throw into big coverage. What a mistake.
44, Tyrone Holt.
Big mistake made by Bodenhammer there to throw into really, really congested coverage where his man was outnumbered by about 4-1, and Tyrone Holt made him pay.
Bird saw the same thing that they saw the previous play. Stone was open on the curl route again. This time Bodenhammer was pressured about the time that Stone came open, and he couldn't throw it then. It would have been wiser for him to hold back after not being able to release it on time.
5 minutes exactly to remain in the first half, and Lloyd Bird is yet another turnover, stifling this drive, which looked like it was a little bit more like a typical Lloyd Bird drive, pounding it and taking time off the clock. But Halifax County has it on the 41-yard line of Lloyd Bird as they take over on the interception.
Watch Wallace on this play.
Here's the handoff, and it comes to number 45. That's George Boyd.
Halifax is using a variety of running backs. He's another one that we didn't even have on the sheet there.
Boyd does play on the defensive side of the ball as a linebacker, but getting some time on the offense as well. And boy, if they have 5 running backs or 6 running backs that are all very capable, it's going to be tough to contain them today.
They may not need to go to the pass. And again, Brandt with the shoulder, they may want to hold back on as much as they throw. That could be the reason.
Power I formation. That was a first down as Brandt settles under center. This time he hands it off once again to number 45, George Boyd.
Testing the right side of that line, and they're getting yardage.
They see something they like in that running game.
They are using just a straight-ahead power game. Very interesting offense. They do a variety of things. They can open it up, and they can be just as basic as anyone.
14-6 is the score. Inside 4 minutes to go in the first half. Second quarter action from the stadium here in South Boston. It's Tuck Dillard Memorial Stadium. The home team has had the better of the action so far. 14-6 they lead. And once again, they pounded up the middle. This time it goes to number 34, and that's Darrell Medley. Medley came into this game with a pretty decent average, 5.4 yards a carry, and he didn't do any worse than that on that carry, to be sure.
Quick trap straight up the middle. They're attacking all areas of the defense. Sweeping it outside, going off tackle, running it right between centers and guards.
Just outside the 10-yard line, let's call it the 11, the line of scrimmage, as they prepare to attack the goal line. Make that the 16-yard line. A little tough to tell on the Bermuda grass that's already been frosted for the year. Handoff goes inside. This time it's number 44 in for the touchdown, Tyrone Holt, who last week had 7 carries for 57 yards but didn't score. This week he racks up his scoring drive, 16 yards on that one.
Power eye back coming back on a crossbuck trap. He just hit it straight up the middle, accelerated. That's a powerful runner. You're not going to bring him down if you let him go that hard. Reminds me a little bit of our running back, Ashley Bird.
I knew you'd get around to talking about Ashley before we were done with this game.
I figured you thought I would.
I thought you figured I thought I would. And Colwell with the extra point attempt, trying to make it 21-6. It's down, it's up. The indication is it's good, and that's where we stand, 21-6. On top is Halifax County as the Comets have continued to have their way with Lloyd Bird. And Roger, are you surprised with where we stand right now?
Yes, I am. Bird is doing some things that are really uncharacteristic of themselves and of championship teams in general. They're having the turnover, the 2 interceptions now, the fumble. And the defense did a great job stopping them 2 times, but you can't expect them to be able to hold every single time. I was wondering there if Halifax was going to be able to go for the jugular and put them away. Not saying they have at this early stage in the game, but they've certainly assisted their cause here.
Colwell is perfect 3 for 3 on the day. He was 6 for 6 last week. Kicks a lot of extra points. He had 46 of them during the year, but not that many field goals. And that's something Roger and I talked about, the confidence that some coaches may or may not have in their kicking game. But Colwell seems to be one good kicker. And if it came down to his leg, I wouldn't bet against him.
No, I wouldn't either, but the situation just hasn't arisen yet that they've needed him.
3 minutes, 20 seconds left to play, and Lloyd Bird will have to be in a little bit more of a hurry-up offense. That's a little bit too much or too little time for them to use their ball control offense in order to finish out this clock. I think Bodenhammer will have to up-tempo it just a bit.
Well, they have to remember, they're going to get the ball to start the second half, and they can just take some time, get field goal, any points they can. They'll be okay.
Here comes the kick. Colwell, this is a squibber. He's usually good for a little bit of a higher kick.
Scooter Harris stumbles.
And across the 30, he does have a gap, but he's got some defenders hanging on his tail, and he's out to the 39-yard line as he puts Bird in pretty good position. 61 yards to go for a score.
You don't want to put Robbie in an untested situation here where he's not used to throwing the ball, and you don't want to force him to have to. They've got enough time. If they use a clock wisely, they can get downfield and do something here.
The clock is cranking with 3 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the first half. Lloyd Bird seemingly in no hurry, shows the T formation, but we'll see what they do out of it. Scooter Harris running around the left side. He's got some room and pushed out of bounds as he's gained of about 6 yards on the play.
With Harrison Vineyard, it pays to be patient, because sooner or later one of those kids can pop a quick run through a gap that they find and turn into a long run and make a big play. I remember Vineyard last week against First Colonial, a little flare pass to the left. Next thing you know, it's a 50-some-yard touchdown.
And indeed, they may have to consider involving their running backs in the passing patterns as they try to pick up some extra yardage here. That was a 5-yard gain. 2nd down and 5. Fakes it to Vineyard. Bodenhammer with plenty of time. And finally just fires the ball out of bounds. Looking for flags. Don't see any. Could have been an intentional grounding, but he was under very heavy pressure, and you got to credit the secondary when you have that much time and can't get it to anybody.
Halifax has great speed in the secondary. They're a senior secondary. In fact, it's a senior-dominated team. Bird chooses to do a lot of their passes through play action where they roll one side or the other. That's okay, but at the same time, you're also eliminating half of the field.
And as you said, a senior-dominated team with only one junior on either the offense or the defense. Halifax County is very mature, and as you can see by their increasingly better records over the last couple of years, they are a team that's really peaking at exactly the right time. It's 3rd down, and let's see what Lloyd Bird can do. Some movement along the defensive side, but they managed to get back. It's Waller in motion. Back is Bodenhammer. Throws over the top. Does find a receiver. David Stone is pushed out of bounds, and he has the 1st down. And it's going to take some athletic moves like that, jumping and catching balls that are going to be a little bit difficult to catch in order for the Skyhawks to penetrate, because the defensive secondaries look very good for Halifax County.
Stone's a very good receiver. He's very aware of what he needs to get on pass patterns. He got exactly what he needed there, a little bit more. And Bodenhammer has a very strong arm. I had the chance to work with him this summer. Hey, as I was saying, Robbie has a very strong arm. He can get the ball to those wide receivers on the short out routes, the hitches. give the guys out there just a chance to run with it. Halifax has given them enough cushion that they can take advantage of that.
Seems to be a slight bit of confusion in the backfield as Waller gets his assignment from Bodenhammer. He's the flanker to the right. I formation, Kadrlik and Vineyard behind Bodenhammer. Draw play. Fools no one. What a incredible
Holt, number 44. He almost clotheslined him.
Defensive play as he might as well have taken the handoff. He was back there so quickly.
Holt is one of the stalwarts of this defense. He was a second team. I see here all-state selection, and I can see why now.
Minute 40. Clock continues to run as Lloyd Bird needs to get some offense generated. They're facing a 2nd down and 15.
This is very uncharacteristic for them. They're going to have some tough times coming up with plays in these situations.
2 receivers, right? Bodenhammer handling
There's
the rush.
The curl
well.
over the middle again. He's got Stone. Oh.
Stone, unfortunately, unable to hold on to the ball. And as I said, it's going to take some athleticism in order for those receivers to catch it. And it required a jumping catch, and he just couldn't quite hang on.
Halifax's linebackers don't seem to be dropping to the curl zones very well. They were able to work Stone upfield and then back underneath in the middle. Using a shotgun was a good idea there. It's giving Bodenhammer more time.
It's a 3rd down and 15. And one thing they have to keep in mind is they don't have to get 15 yards on every play. They have 2 more downs to get the 1st down, and picking up half of it now or 10 yards of it is better than none at all.
Exactly.
Minute 19 left to play here in the 2nd quarter. First half action, 21-6. And Lloyd Bird needs something going right now, and they give it to the big Ben Kadrlik, and he gets a good bit of it. And Roger, it fits in exactly with what I just said. They got 10 of the 15, and now 4th down is a lot less pressure.
Exactly. He's going to be about 3 or 4 yards short, but they've got good field position. They can afford to go for it here. We do have a timeout. Looks like Bird's going to take a timeout to talk about it.
With a minute 4 to play, Lloyd Bird is back to the line of scrimmage. It's a 4th down and 4 yards to go, and a critical play here late in the first half as Lloyd Bird will need to cut into this lead if they want to have a reasonable chance of coming out of the blocks in the 3rd quarter, taking that kickoff and putting this game back into a much closer situation. Let's see how they do on this 4th down play. Bodenhammer, the quarterback. It's an I formation for the Skyhawks. He's going to pass. Finds Stone. Did he hang on? No. The ball is free along the ground. It's incomplete, and the defensive secondary is definitely giving the Skyhawks receivers a tough time.
Tell you, Bodenhammer threw that ball right on the money. Stone made a leaping attempt to get it. They're still attacking that same area, just inside the curl. The linebackers are playing up tight trying to stop the run, and I think they can exploit that if they come back to it.
Just inside a minute, 59 seconds for Halifax County. Let's see if they decide to sit on the ball or perhaps try another one of their strikes, because they are a good big play team. They have some long distance receivers who are capable of busting one quite easily. Matt Wallace, not the least of them. 3 backs in the backfield. That's 45 Boyd rather.
Looks like Halifax is satisfied. They are definitely not in a passing formation there. 2 tight ends. 2 backs in the backfield and a tight wing and just running it straight ahead.
They are not hurrying to the ball as the clock continues to run. 40 seconds left in regulation first half action. 2nd down and 8. This will likely be the last play of the first half, assuming that neither team calls any timeouts. The give goes to number 44. That's Holt, Tyrone Holt.
He may go all the way.
He may add some icing to this cake if he's not taken down from behind by Lloyd Bird.
Number 47 for Lloyd Bird. 42, Kevin Brown, I believe.
Kevin Brown, a big part of the defense for Lloyd Bird, as he is one of the guys who they count on. He's got 2 interceptions, had 1 last week. He's kind of the monster man, as they call him for Lloyd Bird. The weak safety is the Hawk, they call him. They'll have 15 seconds in order to see if they can capitalize. 21-6 the score you saw there, and Halifax County continues to rub Lloyd Bird's nose in it, and this will definitely be a cruncher if they could score off this drive, one that looked like it was just going to waste out the time. Back to pass, Brandt looking left, good strong arm, has somebody in the corner of the end zone, and it looks like a reception, no, at the last minute knocked away. There was a good chance to receive that ball. We'll have another play. 8 seconds left in the first half.
I saw Rudy Barksdale out there. I think I saw Terrence Jennings. We're blocked with our view here a little bit. the wide receiver, the widest one in the trips, was wide open on a fade route, and we were a little late getting the ball thrown.
Second down, 10 yards to go.
Looked like Barksdale came over and actually knocked the ball out of his own man's hand.
It was very crowded over in the corner of the end zone, to be sure. A lot of blue shirts had gotten into that secondary, and Lloyd Byrd is going to have to put the pressure on the quarterback if they expect man coverage to hold up. Brandt, one pump. Now he's got the pressure on, and that will be the last play of the first half unless they can quickly call a timeout. And we have timeout called on the field. With third down and more than 20 yards to go, they'll have one more shot at it.
It's a field goal attempt finally.
3 seconds for Colwell to come out and see if his leg is good enough. And both Roger and I know that he's got the distance, if he's got the accuracy.
About a 46-yarder.
The ball is up. Looks like it's faded to the left, and indeed it will be no good. And that is the end of regulation play. The score is 21-6 on touchdown runs by Rudy Barksdale of 35 and 53 yards. And Tyrone Holt added one for 16 yards to account for the scoring for Halifax County. It was Jason Vineyard on just a 2-yard scamper for the 6 points. The kick failed on the part of Mike Owen. And that's where we stand at halftime. We'll take a short pause, and when we come back, it's second half action from Halifax County in the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week.
Now's the time to be in touch with music at Don Warner Music. Just look at this Bentley entry-level guitar. Affordable, full-size, acoustic sound, and only $99. Or for the pro, try the Rocker's Choice, Pacifica by Yamaha. Both vented and lockdown tremolo. Multiple pickup configuration, fast action neck, and starting from only $499. So look to Don Warner for versatile, affordable guitars, drums, and keyboards. Come see why Don Warner Music rocks.
If you breeze in, you can breeze out fast with Amoco gasoline. Self-service means the best price in the neighborhood. Hot, fresh coffee, your favorite icy cold soft drink, food and sundry items, fresh deli sandwiches and salads, or Virginia's finest deep-fried chicken. Easy in and easy out. It's a breeze at Breeze In.
At Bruce's, we'll never put you in this situation. There's only quality and professional service here. You have the right to choose a repair shop. Make the right choice. Choose Bruce's.
And we're back and ready for second half action. This special edition of the Game of the Week State Finals is being sponsored by Don's Trucking Incorporated of Chester. I'd like to thank Don Beverly and all the drivers there on the south side for helping us out today. Also, Danny Simmons and his staff at the Orange Market on Newby's Bridge Road. The Orange Market, a very popular convenience store for Lloyd Byrd fans, and we thank both Don's Trucking and the Orange Market for making this extra special broadcast available to you today. It's the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. 21-6 is the score. 24 minutes of playing time remain, and Lloyd Byrd will have to get on this board. It's another short kick from Colwell. Scooter Harris has some trouble handling it and just decides to sit on it as number 42 Kevin Brown aids him in downing that ball. And coach, to get inside the head of another coach, what would you imagine that Dutch Scrotenboer said to his team at halftime to try to get him revved up?
Basically, don't panic. They've got a half of football left to play. They've proven all year long they can score points, and there's time. They just have to shut down Halifax, and I tell you, that doesn't bode well with the way we started off the half here. I don't know how wise it was for Brown to fall down on that ball. He had time to pick it up and might have gotten some yardage.
Skyhawks will operate deep in their own territory. First down and 10 is Bodenhammer, of course, is the quarterback. Here's his pitch right to Vineyard. They continue to go on the ground. Let's hope that at halftime they found something in the blocking scheme to give them some more room, because the running game did not exactly percolate in the first half. We're just underway in the second half. I'm Dave Bird, along with Roger Cassim, who's filling in for Willie Lanier. Under the weather today, and Roger's getting his trial by fire. His first game behind the microphone is the state championship game. And thanks for coming, Roger, because I'd be hoarse by now if I had to do it all.
I tell you, it's a privilege. I'm glad to be here.
We've played a minute now of the second half, and Bird has the ball. 2nd down and 4 is the way they'll play it. Bodenhammer, Kadrlik, plenty of room, got the first down before he's finally stopped, and Bird looking like the way that they would like to look, and that is a ball control, offensive, on-the-ground team.
I think it's just like you asked. What did Coach Squirtenberg say to him? And he's told him, just come out and play your game. They've got to put together a long drive now, though, keep it out of Halifax's hands and get some points on the board. The defense has played well enough to keep them in the game. Now the offense has to take up the slack.
Well, indeed, the pressure will fall on the defense of Lloyd Bird, because the way that their offense works, they're only good for 2 or 3 drives a half if they keep it on the ground. So the defense will have to hold Halifax County at those 21 points if Bird's going to win. Long pitch comes out to Vineyard. Has a little bit of running room, but it evaporates quickly as the nice play is made there by number 44, Tyrone Holt, to bring him down.
He's a quick pitcher, trying to take advantage of Jason's speed. Need a little bit better blocking by the wide receiver to give him a chance to get outside, though.
Bird continues to try to establish the running game, but it'll be a 2nd down and 9 yards to go.
Problem Bird has had all game, and it continued here with the second half kickoff, is the field position. It really limits what you want to try to do, because you can't afford another turnover.
And Bird continues to operate fairly deep in their own territory after taking the opening kickoff in the second half. I formation for Bodenhammer. Pitch now, option play. He's got a man, Quincy Waller open, underthrown. Waller can't quite get it, as the option man there was number 36 for Lloyd Bird. That's Chip Woodleaf. He's a reserve running back, in for that play only. And, you know, Lloyd Bird is not very prone to trick-type plays.
That's a bad sign at this point. It sends a little bit of signal. We talked about that earlier with First Colonial trying to do that to Bird last week. But then again, you're at a point in the game where you need to pick up a big play.
Well, the attempt was made, a little bit underthrown for Waller. He did have a stride initially, but it evaporated rather quickly. 9:49 to play. Clock stops on the incompletion. Again, the I formation for Bodenhammer. Keeps his backs into block. Fires out to the right-hand side. David Stone has the ball near the first down. And as we mentioned in the first half, he's a guy that usually has a pretty good idea of what he needs to get. The fans are razzing them on the Bird side because they think they got, as you would say, a left-footed mark on the reception.
Stone has been very accurate with the routes that he's run to get the first down. I thought he had it. He was driven back on the tackle, and I think that's what they're upset about. He might have gotten a little better spot on forward progress.
On 4th down, it seems like there is little doubt that that Lloyd Bird needs to get this first down, but Stone will punt. Are you surprised about that, Roger?
No, not at all. Not in this situation. It's too early, and you can't afford to give a team like this the ball in that kind of field position.
And it is a field position game that they'll be playing now in order to get the ball in Halifax County's hands deep. They have no one back to receive. They seem to suspect something, but Stone does kick left-footed to no one, and with a good roll, this should force Halifax County fairly far back. And indeed, the ball is rolling down inside the 15-yard line. It looks like it's come to rest on just exactly the 10-yard line.
I tell you, that's a mistake there by Halifax. They were doubting whether Bird was actually going to punt it or not, but you need somebody back. Bird's defense has played well enough. Now they need to do the job again right here. If they can hold them, a punt's going to give them excellent field position, and that's what they haven't had all game.
The fumbles and interceptions have gone the way of Halifax County in the first half. Bird would like to turn around that trend in the second half and see if they can pick up a break, and that would definitely fire up their defense as they are operating now deep in Halifax County's territory. Let's see what that very high-powered running game has to offer here in the second half. The man to keep an eye on is 41, the tailback, Barksdale. He has done some serious damage to the Skyhawks. And he takes the inside handoff, this time good for a very short gain.
Tried taking it straight up the middle on the lead play and the power eye, and they're still not doing much on offense as far as trying to open it up. Again, field position figures in there. The 10-yard line, you're not going to do anything to get Bird back in the game. Halifax has done a great job of not doing anything to hurt themselves. not a lot of penalties, and no turnovers.
Barksdale scored twice in the first quarter. A 35 and a 53-yard run is what he was good for, and that's a pretty productive day, but that's only half the game. Let's see what he can do here in the second half. That's Aaron Brand, the quarterback, spinning around to bark a command to his backfield. The power I formation. Here comes the pitch to Barksdale. Let's see if they can contain him. Ankle blocking, or rather ankle tackling, is not quite doing it as he stumbles forward to near the first down.
Number 73, the right tackle for Halifax. See if I can find out who that is.
That's Joe Fincher.
Joe Fincher came off the ball exceedingly well there and opened up the path for Barksdale. He's a big, big fella, and he's doing a good job.
He is a bit short of the first down, and it'll be 3rd down and 1 yard to go. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. This could be one of the biggest plays of the game right here. It's 3rd and short, and field position hinges on whether they hold him here or not.
Halifax County, a difficult team to hold to a less than a 1 yard gain when they really set their minds to it. Once again, Barksdale is the last back in the backfield. He takes the pitch, got some room left. He could have been tackled behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be once again very close.
Looks to me like he might be just a little bit short.
It's very tough for us to see the actual mark of the ball as the chains are in front of us, or rather, should I say, in front of the crowd, and they are in front of us.
I'm surprised by that call because Holt is such a powerful runner. They tried to go outside with Barksdale. Bird has made some adjustments, and they're slowing that down. I think Holt would have been hard to stop right up the middle, but now they ought to get good field position. With Scooter Harris back there returning the punt, he could break it.
Any chance they might fake it?
Oh, no, not at all. Not in this situation.
And here's the kick.
They got it.
Well, I don't know if they actually blocked it, but they certainly forced a very high trajectory on the punt of Preston Faulkner. And Lloyd Bird has definitely won the initial scrimmage of field position. And Coach, we were watching before the game as Faulkner was warming up, and you said to me then, you thought one of his weaknesses is he got a good hang time, but he was capable of being forced into a high trajectory, and that's what we saw in that play.
Right. He kicked a lot of high balls in the pregame. There he had some pressure. Bird was really coming after him. And a kicker like that is prone to just pop it straight up. That's really what he did. I still think he may have gotten a piece of that, though.
He was leaning back so far that he actually fell right on his back after the kick without even being blocked. So you can see how high he was aiming. Line of scrimmage is the 28-yard line.
Something there Quincy Waller didn't like. I don't know if they were missing a player, but Bird's forced to take a timeout here.
That's a little bit unusual. They, this game being so far behind, they don't want to use those timeouts ill-advisedly. And with 6:04 left in the 3rd quarter, that's one that they wouldn't want to waste if they could use it later. A reminder for you fans, this being the last game of the season, it's your last chance to order up a copy of the Game of the Week on VHS cassette. Send your check for $5 to Game of the Week, 1403 Huguenot Road, Midlothian 23113. Just $5 for shipping and handling will do it. And do make sure on your check you write which game it is you want a copy of. This is Lloyd Bird versus Halifax County. And Lloyd Bird has the ball as they take over on the very short punt. They're just inside the 30.
Bird is spreading them out now. A little different look for them.
Brown is left. Waller is right. Sharkey, the tight end, on the left side of the line. And we have another receiver out. Must have another tight end in there on the other side. That'd be number 86, which, of course, is Eddie Moore. Bodenhammer passes over the middle. Tips. See what happened. It seems as if the lineman picked it up on the tip play there.
Number 74 for Lloyd C. Bird.
Well, that's Spence Woodruff, the left tackle.
Lineman's dream getting to catch a pass, but I don't think he really wanted it in that situation. The ball was tipped. He did a good job just keeping it from being an interception. Tried to go to Sharkey.
Maybe a dream for the lineman, but it's a nightmare for the quarterback. Once again, Bird is going to have to pass in this half. We're sure of that because they're so far behind, and it doesn't bode well that Bodenhammer's not able to get it to his receivers.
Still 2nd and 10. It's 4-down territory. They got 3 downs to pick up 10 yards. They don't need to panic here.
5:22, and clock continues to run on the completion. Bodenhammer back to pass, has time, got to find somebody now. Still in trouble. Finally takes it out of bounds as he just did not have the courage to go into the coverage, as there were 5 men back in coverage of the 3 receivers for Lloyd Bird, and that's tough stuff.
Number 42, Kevin Brown, came across the middle, and he was wide open. Unfortunately, Robbie Bodenhammer couldn't find him.
It was good coverage, though, even though he was open briefly. Obviously, Bodenhammer had good pressure and generally good coverage, and that's been the hallmark of Halifax County so far in this game. Bodenhammer has passed more and more. In fact, in the playoffs, he has a better completion percentage, 61% to 41% over the regular season, and he has no interceptions, 5 TDs, which is more than he had in the regular season. He has been very consistent. Unfortunately, I think he's just been snake bitten by an intentional grounding call, which was totally unnecessary because he was obviously going to go down.
There's a loss of down there also, so they're in bad shape. 3rd and 25 yards or so.
Let's see what happens as Bodenhammer is going to have to operate now deep, looking for a big pass, drawing the defenders, could be a screen. Does manage to find his receiver. That's Quincy Waller. And while it won't get him a first down, it does gain enough yardage to get them back to the original line of scrimmage.
Had a little middle screen set up there. Quincy Waller, one of the wide receivers, coming across. He actually ended up running by his middle screen blockers, catching the ball on the right side of the field. It turned out to be a pretty good play as he got lost in the shuffle there.
4th down and 12 at about the 32. That'll be a 49-yard field goal should they consider Mike Owen. And apparently they will not. You said it was 4-down territory, and you're right, Roger. It looks as if there's no question that Lloyd Bird's going to have to go for it now, and they're in a good field position situation to take the risk. 4:50. It's been a quick 3rd quarter. It continues to run on the completed pass and tackle inbounds. Here's Bodenhammer. I formation is the way Bird operates. Waller and Stone left. That's the way Bodenhammer's looking. Got time so far. Got some blocking. Needs to let it go. Finds Stone near the out-of-bounds line.
Looks like it's incomplete.
Yes, indeed. As we say, we have some trouble seeing the near sideline, but the indication is that it was incomplete. He was either out of bounds or dropped the ball. And this means Halifax County is going to take over on downs. And in terms of defensive intensity, this has got to be a good sign if you're a Halifax fan. I doubt if any of them are watching right now.
They rebuffed the attack there. Lloyd Bird had an opportunity to take advantage of it, and the offense was not able to come through. That was uncharacteristic because I think you saw 3 passes out of those 4 plays there.
4 minutes, 38 seconds. Clock stopped on the incompletion. Taking over on downs near their 30-yard line is Halifax County. Number 34 comes through. It's Darryl Medley. He's got some room. Secondary is counted on to make the stop for Lloyd Bird as the line play of Halifax County continues to be sharp.
There was a fumble on the play, and Holt picked it up. Medley was running with it. He dropped it, and Holt picked it up and took it for about another 10 yards or so.
Well, there's teamwork.
I don't think they drew it up that way.
No doubt about that. But it continues to keep Halifax County in control of the ball, and they don't need to score anymore. As we may have mentioned earlier, they have never given up more than 20 points in a game in the entire season. Now they have 21 of their own. If they stay true to their defensive average, this game is all but over. Well, we think not. Let's see what happens. Halifax County, that's number 44, Tyrone Holt, trying to round the corner. A lot of ankle tackling going on, and finally Jason Vineyard is able to upend him. And that does point out something, Roger, that we had said to each other before the game. The linebacker play is going to be key for the Skyhawks because guys like Sharkey and Vineyard are going to have to pursue outside.
Sharkey did a good job there. He slowed down Holt enough to give Vineyard time to run and get over to the play on pursuit. Vineyard's kind of linebacker. He's not going to take people on real well, but he's a great pursuer, and that's exactly what he did. But Sharkey really slowed him down enough. Halifax is doing enough damage right now just making first downs. They don't need really points, as you said.
To be sure, the clock continues to roll with 3:33 left to play in the 3rd quarter. It's a 2nd down and 14 for Halifax County as they operate out of the eye. There's the handoff inside, a play that worked well to Barksdale earlier in the first half. Not quite as popular this time, not quite as successful as that fake jump pass and then the delayed draw inside.
I'm surprised they've kept Wallace as quiet as they have up to this point. They have run the ball so successfully, and Coach Smith seems content to just run it up the middle with Barksdale and Holt and Medley and that other stable of running backs that he has.
And indeed, you make a good point that Matt Wallace has 31 receptions on the season, a 22.4 yards per catch average. He was 5 catches, 79 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week in the big win they had over South Lakes. And he could well be a man that quarterback Aaron Brand will seek out on this play. And he is wide to the left, and indeed does look for him. In fact, it's to the short man, Tyrone Holt. But if you looked, it was Wallace who was open on the long route.
Bird is doing what Coach Grotenborough mentioned they would before the game. They're putting a lot of pressure on Brant, even though Wallace was open on the plate. There really wasn't enough time to get it downfield to him.
The incomplete pass intended for Holt will bring up a punting situation as Preston Faulkner will once again try. Remember, last kick was very short, no more than 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, as the pressure from Bird caused a very high trajectory. Let's see what kind of pressure that the Skyhawks can put on this play. Once again, they're coming. And once again, it's not as short as last time, but it'll only be about a 15-yard kick or so from the line of scrimmage. Lloyd Bird will, however, have plenty of yards left, as that ball is going to come to rest on just inside the 30-yard line, it seems.
Halifax is being very patient. They're content to make 1 or 2 first downs, punt it, put Bird back at the 20-yard line instead of starting from midfield, and that's all they need to do right now is make Bird eat up 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to get downfield to score, because time is really a factor now with 2:30 left in the third.
Score is 21-6. Halifax County has the lead. Lloyd Bird has the ball, first down and 10. The T formation in the backfield goes to Vineyard. He scrambles looking for yardage. Can't seem to find any as he's hemmed inside. Jason Vineyard, kind of an all-world player. He's got the credentials coming into this game. He was the Dominion District Offensive Player of the Year, and he's a first-team all-regional selection on offense.
And he is just a junior, and I'm going to have the pleasure of playing in his district next year, which I can't say I'm looking forward to doing.
Yeah, you use that word pleasure advisedly. I can tell by the look on your face. We're inside 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Bodenhammer still has the ball. Now he's got to find someone to throw it to. Finds Ryan Sharkey finally. Ryan Sharkey, who has been a name that we have almost not called at all on the offensive side of the ball, is good for that reception. It looked like he gained about 8 yards on that play.
They've been covering Sharkey very, very tightly previous to that play. Now they're starting to loosen up a little bit because a pass underneath like that is not going to do that much harm. They're not going to let the receivers get deep. I saw Brown running deep there, and they were covering him.
Minute 19 left to play in the first half. The clock continues to roll, rather third quarter. Let's see what Bird can do as they've established a bit of a running game. Third down, 3 yards to go. Here's your motion man, Waller, coming at you. Handoff goes to Kadrlik. That's who they usually go to when they're looking for short yardage, and he may not have gotten it this time. Clock continues to run. We're inside a minute to play in the third quarter.
I hate to use a cliche here, but it seems like teams that live by the run can also die by the run, and that may happen here if Bird is not able to do something to get some points on the board before too long.
Fourth down. It's a short yard situation with just 2 yards to go. 35, 34 seconds. There will be another play in this quarter, to be sure.
This is going to be a critical one here with 4th and 1 in this field position. Give the ball up here.
It's the T formation that Bird uses so often. See who gets the ball as Bodenhammer's the quarterback. Give us to the last man through Vineyard. I don't think he got it. It's going to be extremely close as they will have to line this one up. I think that Halifax County has held.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Dave. You have good eyes here, and I don't think he got it. They tried a little lead play with Vineyard following Kadrlik and Harrison.
And that is a tough break for Bird as we wind down 8 seconds to play on the clock, and they'll wind it as soon as the teams have traded sides, and I believe that we'll have no more plays to be played in this quarter. Let's see if they wind the clock and let it run down. 21-6 will be the score at the end of the third quarter. This is the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. When we come back, they'll be going opposite directions. One more quarter for Lloyd C. Bird to get back into this ball game, and we'll be back right after this.
We would like to invite everyone, whether you have a wrecked car or not, to tour a truly unique body shop.
Great moments in sports don't belong only to the pros. That's why First News wants your videotapes for hometown sports. Maybe there's a karate kid in your family, a bowling alley ace, or a skater who really makes the rounds. Hi, I'm George Ivanko, and 12 Sports wants you to show us your stuff. Send your VHS tapes to Hometown Sports, P.O. Box 12, Richmond, 23201. and join us for First News live at 5:30. We're on your side with Hometown Sports.
And we're back for the final period of action in AAA Group 6 football, Division 6 football, that will be played this year. That we know, and the question is, who will be the state championship? Who will be the champion? Roger, that was a good quarter for Byrd in that they didn't give anything up, but that's not what they needed.
Exactly. They had an opportunity there to break through and get some points. The gamble to go for first down and 4th and 1 was necessary, but now they may have dug a hole they can't crawl out of.
Let's see where they line up at the line of scrimmage. It's just outside the 30, call it the 32-yard line, as Halifax County now can start to use the clock in their favor. Barksdale, who's got great lateral speed, is outside very quickly, but then the pursuit keeps him along the line of the scrimmage for a short gain.
They strung him out better on that play. He started up the middle, didn't say anything, broke it out, but Bird's getting used to that move by him.
He stayed in bounds. The clock continues to roll, and with each tick of the clock, it becomes more of an ally of the Comets of Halifax County.
Yeah, the situation Byrd had earlier reminded me of the situation we had when we played him. Third quarter, you had the chance, good field position. We went to the pass when the run was working, and it didn't quite work out the way we'd hoped.
Here comes the second down play. Call it a gain of 3. It'll be 7 yards to go for the first down. Here comes the handoff to Barksdale again. I think he'll see the ball a lot. He might see the end zone on this play. And indeed, Barksdale has scored from, we'll call it just about exactly 30 yards. And that's the way the fourth quarter is going to open up. And to say that's a bad sign for Byrd would be a great understatement.
I've not seen a team this year that's been able to run the balls effectively against Byrd as Halifax has today. It was just an off-tackle play, lead blocking by Holt. Barksdale took it off right tackle, and with his speed, once he gets in the secondary, it's tough to run him down.
Well, Barksdale has been the story. He's already had 2 touchdown runs prior to this of 35 and 53 yards. Add this 30-yarder, and he's got over 100 yards just on touchdown plays. Colwell, as he has been, or rather as he has not been, he has missed an extra point. 27-6, and gee, Roger, as I pointed out, those extra points may not mean all that much.
At this point, I'd have to agree with you.
27-6 is our score now. 11-10 left to play. The task for Byrd is becoming insurmountable, if it isn't just that. Colwell's kick is the first one he's missed in the last 2 weeks. He had 6 last week, and he's 3 of 4 today. Maybe he's getting a little tired.
I think you'll see Byrd come out strongly now. This is a very, very good team. They have a lot of pride, and they're not about to call it quits at this point. Even though they're facing a uphill climb, there's a lot of pride in those players. Guys like Wade and the other seniors are getting ready to go out. They want to go out on a good note, so they're gonna come after Halifax.
Lloyd C. Byrd, of course, the Central Region champs. They beat the Eastern Regional champs last week to come to this state final game. And they have represented Central Virginia very well. They beat some tough teams to get here. They can be very proud. The Lee Davises, the Thomas Dales of the world, and even the First Colonials last week offered tough opposition. So they certainly deserve to be in this game, but they have come up against a team that has some great athletes, well coached, and has a partisan home crowd behind them. Lloyd Byrd has nothing to be ashamed of. They got to this game, and as Coach Scrotenborg said, this is the game they needed to get to. The pressure was off. There is no next week. Here's Colwell's low kick along the ground. This may make the sideline if Waller lets it. No, he decides to cut it off, and he himself is knocked out of bounds out around the 30-yard line as Byrd has 11 minutes and 5 seconds remaining on this clock in order to see if they can draw some blood.
Colwell's squibbing the ball on almost all the kickoffs. They respect the speed of Vineyard and Harris and Waller back there. They're not going to give them a chance to have that kind of run back that they had to open the game.
So many people have made this broadcast possible. You've heard us mention some of the ones who signed on this week. Some Lloyd Byrd supporters were able to raise a little money to make it possible for us to do this state championship game, and we certainly thank those people. The boosters at Lloyd Byrd are as rabid as you find at any school, and they've come down here in numbers to support their team, who now has a big task in front of them. 11:06 left to play. Bodenhammer gives to Vineyard. He's caught from behind for little or no gain. Looks like he was behind the line of scrimmage.
Halifax is able to hone in now on what Lloyd Byrd can do, and they're going to make it real tough for him. I tell you, Larry Smith's done a good job here, bringing his team from 3-7 to 5-5, and now to what could be an undefeated season, the state championship. And he succeeded in creating what Dutch Scrotenberg has already created at Byrd, and that's a successful program, not just a good team.
That, of course, the voice of Roger Cassim, who's filling in for Willie Lanier this week, who's under the weather. Roger's the head coach at Manchester, so when you hear him say that he'll get to play against this team next year, then you know what he means. That is, he plays against this team because he coaches Manchester. And he knows that guys like Jason Vineyard and Ben Cadrelick are going to be back next year. Robbie Bodenhammer won't, though, and that certainly will have an effect on the offense of Lloyd Bird. 3rd down and 4.
Coach Grodenberg, though, has put together such a good program that he's got players that are going to continue to come year in and year out. And I tell you, that's what we hope to do at Manchester. And we're just privileged to be able to play teams like this. They're an excellent, excellent team. And they're moving the ball right now. 3rd down and short.
10 minutes exactly left to play 4th quarter, and Bird does not need a ball control possession. They need a scoring drive instantaneously. Bodenhammer to pass over the middle, finds Sharkey.
Ball batted away again. He was trying to go to Sharkey on the tight end and just a dump over the middle, and it's getting batted down at the line.
Unfortunately, Sharkey has been a very small factor today, and Coach, it looked like they really came up with a defensive scheme to take the passing game away from Bird, make them run, and they really had no option.
They put a lot of players up close to the line in that 4-4 scheme, and they're really guarding Sharkey, like you said, very closely. They're not going to give him a chance to do much. Really, if you look at the statistics of the Bird receivers, take him out, and you take a lot.
Stone to punt, left-footed kicker. Gets away a pretty decent kick. Fair catch called for, and it'll be the 40-yard line where Halifax County will take over with 9:39 left to play in this game. I'm Dave Bird. We're glad you joined us for this AAA Division 6 state championship game. It'll definitely be the last one of the year, and so many people have made it possible. As I mentioned, some of the people that got together at Lloyd Bird, including Spencer Brothers Incorporated, and all the folks down at Don's Trucking. Don Beverly, a big NASCAR owner, and the Orange Market, of course. I'm reminded. They all got together and created a little extra bit of sponsorship that made this particular coverage possible. During the season, of course, Chippenham Sports Medicine has been our major benefactor, and Coach Kassem, I think, has a pretty good idea of the importance of sports medicine, and in particular the people at Chippenham, because Dr. Doug Cutter works with your team during the year.
Dr. Doug Cutter just gives an unselfish amount of time. There's no way to give thanks for the amount of time and the amount of effort that he gives to our program and to the high school programs in the area. We're lucky enough to have him with us on game nights, but he and his staff make sure that all the high school area teams are covered very well.
Do you find that having sports medicine people around you during your preparation has had an effect on, say, limiting injuries and making smarter players?
I think so. I think you would be surprised at the number of young people out there who want to be athletes who don't understand what it takes to be an athlete in terms of taking care of their bodies, taking care of injuries, preventing injuries. And Dr. Cutter and his staff do an excellent job not only of treating injuries once we have them, but educating the players so that they can eliminate those sort of things, helping them so they know how to stretch, know what to do for their particular sport so that they can prevent injuries before they ever happen. He's helped us a great deal in getting players back much more rapidly than we would ever hope to under other circumstances.
Clock continues to run with 8 minutes, 30 seconds left to play. 3rd down, 7 to go for Halifax County. They continue to hold the ball and waste as much time as they can, as the clock is definitely their ally now with that 27-6 lead. Out of the backfield comes number 44. That, of course, is Tyrone Holt. Let's see what the mark is, but it's, of course, going to be a 4th. Holt comes into the game with a 5.2 yard a carry average.
James Butler with a nice tackle there. He came up and took on Tyrone Holt. But Halifax is being very conservative. They're patient. I'm impressed with Coach Smith. He's not trying to do anything that's unnecessary at this point, although he might be able to.
Coach Larry Smith, of course, for Halifax, has come from a losing record to an even record and now to a state championship record in the course of 3 years. Real modest guy. A lot of pressure from Bird. And you see Scooter Harris letting that ball go. I think that might have been a mistake, as this ball will now be touched up at the 4-yard line.
I tell you, we commented on this before the game. We're looking at an east-west layout of the field. And as the afternoon draws to an end, you've got some awful long shadows, and that sun is right in his eyes. So he may have had trouble picking that ball up. I don't think he would have let it hit otherwise.
And indeed, as we said, now as we tape this game, it is getting close to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun will be down within the next 40 minutes or so, and that makes it very low on the horizon and in the Skyhawks' face, which could be one of the reasons why Halifax chose to the end of the field that they chose, knowing that there would be a factor.
I'd like to believe the coach is that smart, wouldn't you?
Well, coaches can be smart, can't they, Coach?
Once in a while, yeah.
The two backs in the backfield were Vineyard and Cadrelick. Just bounces off the hands of David Stone. Lost his concentration there.
He made a mistake that a lot of receivers do, and it's not a big error, but a lot of times receivers will sit and wait for a ball when they're open rather than coming back to it, and that gives the defender an opportunity, just as you saw there, to step in front and knock the ball away.
So if you have an advantage of a yard or two, you keep that advantage by moving the same direction that the defensive man is.
Right. You're never going to get more open, and as the ball comes, you want to move back to it.
7 minutes exactly left to play. Clock stops on the incompletion. 2nd down and 10. Bodenhammer has Vineyard and Kadrlik in the backfield. He'll be looking upfield. No, instead gives it to Kadrlik. He's trying to find room, and he's buried. And the Skyhawks offense is definitely sputtering at this point.
Halifax is an awesome team, but they're senior dominated, and they ought to be at this point. Coach Smith has brought these guys along over the course of 3 years, and I think we're looking at a total of 3 juniors out of the starters. So the experience is paying off, and it's showing.
Well, of course, we'd like to thank the people here at Halifax County who have been so nice. The athletic director, Don Thompson, head coach Larry Smith, made us feel very warm and welcome. And as we wind down this game, we've got 6 minutes, 22 seconds, and clock rolling. Looks like it could be a safety, as Bodenhammer really didn't get out of the end zone. He handed to Vineyard, and he stopped on the half-yard line. Goodness, that's precarious to say the least.
Little draw play there, and this time didn't go for much, but you're very, very limited in what you can call from there, and I can't say that I could have thought of anything much better.
David Stone will be standing on the back line as he punts. Another thanks is to Hugh Moore, who's the statistician for the team and the writer for the Gazette Virginian, which is here in South Boston. Left-footed kick from Stone. Now just let it roll. Doesn't really make much difference at this point, but it'll be at about the 42-yard line.
He gets a nice roll. Halifax is not trying to do anything that is unnecessary at this point. They did not go for a block on that, which he thought they might have, and they'll have good field position. I have a feeling they'll just grind it out.
As I mentioned, the Lloyd Bird boosters that helped us today, among them Carol Davis, Michelle Werner, Joe Sharkey. Sharkey, yeah, that's a name that rings a bell. Wouldn't be surprised if he's related to a player who's out there. The director of athletics is Chuck Tester down at LC Bird. Aubrey Lindsay is the principal. And, of course, we could not leave out the coaching staff of Coach Dutch Scrotenboer. And, you know, it's a fine tribute that a guy can move here from Michigan, as he did when they opened up Lloyd Bird, and bring with him much of his entire staff. The guys that came with him, Jim Waters and Ron Paquette, have been with him for in the neighborhood of 20 years. And, Coach, that doesn't happen very often, that you move from Michigan to Virginia and bring along 2 of your guys, and then they stay for another 10 years.
Now, I saw a lot of that down in Florida, opportunities for coaching staffs to come in like that. But it sure is just a wonderful thing for Coach Scrotenboer. I know it makes his job a lot easier.
Here's the 1st and 10 play for Halifax County. The inside handoff goes to number 44. That's Tyrone Holt again.
Holt is a load to bring down. Little inside scissors play again, little trap block, and he just refused to go down. He's probably over 100 yards himself.
And that was worth about 25 yards, as they were operating from the 40, and now it looks like about the 15-yard line will indeed be the line of scrimmage. Among the coaches for Dutch Scrotenboer, Jim Waters, Ron Paquette, Jimmy Shoemate, Ron Paquette's son Dave gave us all the statistics and made it so easy for us. Just a great bunch of people from Chester who made it a pleasure to broadcast the Skyhawks games this year, as all the teams did. Coach, you know, Manchester was very accommodating to us, and so were just about every other one of the schools that we approached for information and accommodations. And without guys like you and Dutch and all these other coaches, it wouldn't even have been possible for us to do these broadcasts. Here's the handoff to Barksdale. Nothing doing on this play. He's good for about 3 yards with 4:48 left to play and clock rolling. It's just a matter of time before Halifax County and the Comets are crowned the state Division VI AAA champions.
Hey, I'd like to take time myself just to thank you guys for the coverage you did of us this year. I hope everyone is appreciative of the effort that you make, Pete Lansing and his crew, and it's just great for high school football in the Richmond area. And I'd like to see everybody else get behind y'all and help you to be able to do it again next year.
Well, it seems to get better every year, and we certainly appreciate the kind words. It's a matter of credibility, going in and trying to do a good job and make high school football in Central Virginia look good. It's 2nd down and 8. Here's the handoff once again. This time it goes to Tyrone again, Tyrone Holt. He stopped for a little gain.
Number 78, Todd Kahn in there for Bird, helping to make the stop, along with several others. Halifax is basically just going left, right with the same plays now, grinding it out, using up the clock. and they're going to be a very happy bunch in just a little while. But Bird should be very happy also. Great season. And with a lot of these players coming back, they can expect another one next year.
Yeah, another team very near and dear to Lloyd Bird. Thomas Dale has an incredible amount of juniors next year, and that rivalry looks like it'll be just as hot as it ever was. There's the pitch. A late pitch goes out to Barksdale. He does have some room, but he's got to pick up quite a few yards. That was a 3rd down and 7. And it looks like Lloyd Bird is held with 3 minutes, 24 seconds to go, and best of all for his team, he stayed in bounds.
Tell you, Barksdale is very deserving of that second-team All-State status at running back. He has got some loose hips, and he is a handful in the open field.
At an administrative level, as far as the Virginia High School League goes, Earl Gillespie, the executive director, helped make this possible. Jim Saxton, who works out of Freeman High School, has a lot of input in the central region, and he really helped make things go well for us. Of course, the officials every day, every game we come to, have been kind enough to allow us to mic them. Ron Cherry's the official today, the referee, along with Frank McCain and Rudy Rice, Roscoe Hatton, Chris Brown, and Dan Farrell. They're out there on the field. Here's the 4th down play, back to pass. Brandt looks up, has a man. Last minute knocked away by number 7, Carroll.
Tried to hit the tight end, number 84, Alfred Ford, which is a rarity for Halifax. They don't throw to the tight end very much. Guess on the 4th down play, they figured why not take a shot.
2:41 is where the clock stops right now. You mentioned Pete Lansing down in the truck. He's working with Derek, Dick, and Steve. John is on audio today. Paul's got one of the cameras. Robert's up top here. With the camera that covers most of the field. Of course, the one thing that makes it all fun to be here is all the students and the student athletes and the parents who show up. There's something different about high school football that can't be captured anywhere else, not at the college or pro level. It's the just the basic family atmosphere that makes it so much fun. Bodenhammer's got the ball. He's going to have to take it all the way to the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds. 2:32 left to go.
Ty Bodenhammer, very, very brave player. He's an overachiever, works real hard. Doesn't have great speed, has pretty good size. He's a strong boy, and he's fighting right to the end. I saw some comments by Robbie early in the week where he thought maybe his football playing days might be over. He's a pretty good player. I think he might be able to play somewhere in college, maybe Division III level or some of the Division IIs.
As impressive as the offense has been for Halifax County, we expected it to be very potent. Their defense played an excellent game today in shutting down Lloyd Bird, both their grinding offense, and they have a couple of receivers who can catch the ball, and they were shut out as well. Bodenhammer rolls left, looks for Stone, finds him, he's out of bounds. 2:25 left to play, and as you say, they're playing for pride at this point as Lloyd Bird wants to go out feeling strong about themselves because there is still another year to go next year with some of these juniors coming back.
Oh, they can. They can feel very strong. In the playoffs last year, defeating Monacan, I believe, or actually beat out Monacan and then played Highland Springs and lost in the regionals. This year, getting all the way to the finals. I think as early as 1985, they were in the playoffs again, and they've done a great job.
Well, they are going to miss a lot of their seniors, of course. Among them, their big center, all-world team. Tim Wade is a senior. Jody Parham, who plays on the right side of that line, is going to be leaving. They'll miss him as well. On the play, that's looks like Woodleaf.
Coach Grodenberg giving some younger players a chance to have the thrill of being in a state final game, and I tell you, that's what keeps it going. You mentioned earlier, family-type atmosphere at a high school football game. It's a very wholesome activity, and it's something I'd like to see more kids involved in. I know parents are encouraging to go out and do things to help them become more responsible, more mature, but playing high school athletics, I don't think can do any much more than a job or anything else could. And I'd like to see more games like this in the Richmond area.
Among the other departing seniors for the Skyhawks, besides some of the ones we've mentioned, as Vineyard carries the ball for the first down, I wanted to make mention of David Stone, who's done a great job of punting and also plays in the receiving corps, along with Quincy Waller and Kevin Brown. Ryan Sharkey, boy, they'll miss him. He's a second-team All-Central Region guy, and he plays on both sides of the ball. He is a very tough customer. They'll miss him along with Spence Woodruff on the offensive team.
A little bit of frustration there by number 64 on the part of L.C. Bird. Had a personal foul, James Butler, and I'm not sure. He may have been ejected from the game. He's definitely come off the field. There's going to be a 15-yarder marked off against Lloyd Bird.
There's some discussion going on as Ron Cherry came to the bench. Now he will address us with his call, I believe, after he sets the preliminary or gets the decision of Halifax County and how they want to take it.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Offense. Ejection.
And there you have it. You were right, Roger. Butler was ejected, and now's not the time to lose your cool. Lloyd Bird has been very cool. Last week we saw Ryan Sharkey get hit in the head by a quarterback who was frustrated, and he took it and for his team. So right now is not the time to show anything but poise. We're looking at a first down and 25. Option play Woodleaf. We saw that earlier. This time it's a short screen to Sharkey. And he's back to near the original line of scrimmage and out of bounds with 1:32 left to play in this state championship football game.
As you said, just a little tight end screen to Sharkey, and they're still scrapping for every yard they can get. They'd like to get a score on the board just for pride's sake.
Among the defensive players who'll be leaving, Lloyd Bird, that we've heard, Carlos Gray, who injured himself the broken ankle earlier in the season, has come back to play. Todd Kahn, who's 4th in tackles as a senior, and he's leaving. Kevin Brown is going to be leaving the secondary along with Waller and Carroll, we mentioned earlier. And Mike Owen, the kicker, who only kicked for his first time this year. He's a soccer-style kicker, and he just came out for the team. He won the game at Albemarle with no time left, which allowed Lloyd Bird to go as far as they did. Kadrlik stumbles and rolls and manages to run over one of his own men.
A little alarm there. I thought Ben might have rolled up the legs there, Brown, number 42, but he looks like he's okay. Another big run. Bird takes a timeout.
There are some clean jerseys in the game on both sides of the ball, and I guess, as I said, they're playing for pride as the line of scrimmage is now the 39-yard line with 1:23 to play and timeout on the field.
Yeah, it's very important to get these younger players into this game to give them a taste of what it's like.
I want to remind you one more time that this is the last game of the season and your last chance to order any of our games on VHS cassette. The underwriting on the part of Chippenham Sports Medicine to the tune of $39.95 makes it available to you for just $5. And you see the address on your screen is 1403 Huguenot Road, Midlothian 23113. Remember, that's a $5 check, and indicate which game it is you would like a copy of on VHS cassette. Back to the live action as they get ready to set over the ball as the Skyhawks continue their final drive of the game, wasting down the clock. They're behind 27-6. Halifax County has come out and from the onset set the tone of this game. Was 7-6 early, but that didn't last long. Barksdale's running really had a positive effect for Halifax County, and that wild throw by Bodenhammer sails out of bounds, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10 with 1:15 to play. Coach, any reflective thoughts on this game, just in general, of how each of the teams played?
I'll tell you, Halifax pretty much set the tone right from the beginning when they took the opening kickoff, and behind the running of Barksdale, they just took it right downfield made it look easy. Put it in the end zone. Bird tried to answer, but Halifax just seemed to dominate today.
Coach Dutch Scrotenborg came into this game with a career winning record of 206 wins, 81 now, soon to be 82 losses and 3 ties. He's seen a lot of games, and he said going into this one, it's no big deal. Just go out and have fun, and I certainly hope that they did in terms of both teams. Once again, a ball headed out to the left sideline. Had in mind Quincy Waller as a receiver, and it was overthrown with double, if not triple coverage.
Right, there you see the strength of Robbie Bodenhammer's arm. He really can get it out there. He just has to have the experience. It's not easy for a quarterback to suddenly become a passer when you haven't been. We did quite a bit of throwing with our quarterback over at Manchester, and it just takes a while. And I remember from playing myself, seems like a light switch comes on one day after the experience.
And you see limping off the field Corey Williams, who is the son of the Thomas Dale coach, Vic Williams, who was a victim along the way of the Lloyd Bird juggernaut. He, of course, doesn't go to his dad's school, and he's still got a year left, so he'll come back as a senior next year. He's a second-team all-regional. He's an all-academic, and I'm sure his dad's real proud of him. 1:07 left to play here in the final quarter of this game. Ben Kadrlik bulls forward. It was a 3rd down and 10, and looks like he got about 6 of those yards.
Ben Kadrlik sure hadn't quit. He's still running hard, dragging tacklers along, and boy, with running backs like that coming back next year, as good as they are now, they're even more scary.
Well, they're going to have to fill some key positions. Their line has been the thing that's pushed them these last 2 years. Tim Wade in the middle and those other guys on either side of them, Spencer Woodruff and those guys. They're going to have to fill in there and at quarterback. They'll be hurting in the secondary, but they're good and pretty good in the linebacker situation. They're going to call this down. That was a 4th down, last chance for Bird. 29 seconds left to play. The pass fell incomplete. And that will be it for the offensive unit of the Lloyd C. Bird Skyhawks in this championship game.
And Bird, I'm sure, is very disappointed, but they have nothing at all to be ashamed of. I see the players coming off. You can see the frustration on their faces. But soon they'll be able to sit back and reflect on this season and have memories of a very, very successful campaign. And it won't be long before they're back to work getting ready for the next season.
Among all the other people we wanted to make sure we thanked for tonight's game would be the people who watch at home on their cable systems, Continental and Star Cable in the greater Richmond area. We hope again to bring you next year even more exciting action, bigger and better coverage, more games, better games, and hopefully more viewers. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, tell the advertisers. They need to know you're out there and need to know you've enjoyed our games so that next year they'll renew their sponsorship and we'll be able to do this kind of stuff. We're 100 miles now from Richmond as we broadcast and tape this game for broadcast later on tonight. And to go all this way takes some money, and it's the sponsors who make it possible.
Hey, Mike Jernigan, number 26 for Bird, making the most of an opportunity to get in the game. He really laid a hit on the running back, and that's going to do it.
That is the final play of this Division VI AAA boys football state championship. Basketball season has already started and it's on my mind. But the football championship this year in Division VI, the ultimate division in high school football in Virginia, will rest on the shoulders of the Halifax County Comets. And Bedlam has broken at midfield as the Skyhawks will have to summon up what's left of their pride in order to go out and congratulate the victors.
Halifax completes a perfect season, 14-0 now. And they should be very, very proud of what they've done. Coach Smith completed the turnaround in 3 short years. That's a great job, and he needs to be commended.
It was a perfect day for football, and when we come back, we'll review the scoring and put this season to rest. The final score, 27-6. Halifax County the winner in the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. It's the state finals.
Each year, more than 500,000 Americans die suddenly when the beating of their heart becomes disrupted. Their problem is cardiac arrhythmias, and sometimes the function of the heart is simply shut off. For patients who survive one of these events, there's much we can do. Electrophysiology is a relatively new area of medicine we're using at Chippenham Medical Center to help determine what went wrong. In the electrophysiology lab, we can stimulate the heart to reenact its arrhythmia under controlled conditions. Then we can prescribe a variety of medications or other procedures until we find exactly the right therapy. In the past, the best we could do was give medication and hope the problem wouldn't happen again. But now, with the medical center equipped like this one, we no longer have to work in the dark.
The Virginia Heart Center, advanced cardiac care for the human body and the human being.
Now's the time to be in touch with music at Don Warner Music. Check out the Series 10 electric guitar. Slim contour body, multiple pickups, fast action neck, complete with matrix amplifier, only $299. Or touch this Yamaha PRS 28 keyboard. Produce 99 different voice sounds or 16 different rhythm sounds. It also has a chord sequencer complete for only $299. So look to Don Warner for versatile, affordable guitars, drums, and keyboards. Come see why Don Warner Music rocks.
And today's final score, of course, was 27-6 as Halifax County started off strong and just stayed that way all day. Rudy Barksdale was good for a 35-yard run before 2 minutes of the game had been played. And even though Bird came back with their own Jason Vineyard touchdown in the first quarter, that would be the end of their scoring as the kick failed, and it was 7-6. Barksdale again in the first quarter with a 53-yard run. Then in the second half, Tyrone Holt's 16-yard run, and finally Barksdale in the fourth quarter again from 30 yards. That's your final score as one of the kicks failed from Colwell. 27-6 is the final score, and Halifax County had all they needed today in order to handle Lloyd Bird. I guess the key to the game would have to really lie in the defense of Halifax County. They really had the schemes to jam up Lloyd Bird, and their offense, of course, was plenty potent. They'd never scored less than 20 all year, so they were ready coming in.
Their offense did a good job of moving the ball and keeping it out of Lloyd C. Bird's hands. And then when Bird did get it, they never really had an opportunity to have good field position, save the opportunity that Waller gave them on the return kickoff. But awful proficient ground game by Halifax. I have not seen a team be able to run the ball like that on Bird this season.
As we've said before, this was going to be the last game of the season for both of these teams, so there's really no loser. They both made it to this game. Yeah, sure, Halifax County is going to get to say they're the state champions, and they deserve it. They played one heck of a football game, but the fans at Lloyd Bird should not be disappointed. They got to come here. They got to the state finals, and as you said, they're getting better year by year. They have no reason to believe they won't make the playoffs again next year. They're losing some key seniors and some very good players, but, you know, Dutch Scrotenborg, as you mentioned, has a real good program, and he might be able to fill in there.
Well, we'd like to see what we can do to maybe slow them down a little bit. But like you said,
tell me about Manchester next year then, if you like. As Coach Kassem is the coach there, what do you foresee in your crystal ball for the Manchester team?
Oh, it's too early to tell at this point. We're proud of the achievements of our team this season. A 7-3 record, given the records in past years, was something for us to reflect on now and be happy about. But we're by no means satisfied. We have a lot that we need to do to get to the level of an LC Bird where we have a good program. We had a good team, but we need to build from here. Possibly the move to the new school will help that. And we'd like to be able to compete with the Clover Hills and the Monicans and the LC Birds. It's a very, very good district that we're moving into. And I think there's very good football played there, as Bird has showed all season and shown today.
As I said earlier, and I'd like to make mention of again, there were some special sponsors who made today's broadcast a possibility. And they, of course, were really brought to us by our good friends at Lloyd C. Bird. They found them for us and made it possible for us to broadcast the game. And that was Don's Trucking Service, of course. And we also want to thank the people at the Orange Market. They were good to us as well. And without them, we would really not have been able to do this broadcast. And thanks to their generosity, we were able to do that. We had a first-half sponsor, right, Pete? I can't find my paper. Where did they go? And, of course, the major sponsors who helped us out, of course, were Chippenham Hospital and their sports medicine department, Breeze Inn, Bruce's, U-Crops, Don Warner, and, of course, the extra sponsor we picked up today, Spencer Brothers Incorporated. They are the ones who are big distributors of gasoline and fuel oil and lubricants in the Lloyd Bird area, and it's their pride in their local team that allowed them to send us here to the state championship. They call them the wrecking crew here, Halifax County Comets, and there's a bunch of wreckers here. I think every wrecker in South Boston must be out here today as they're displaying their pride in their home team, and they've come out to do the wrecking today. Final score 27-6 here as we wrap up the state finals. Thank you very much for enduring the season with us, and we hope it's been enjoyable to all the viewers. Thanks especially to Roger Kassem, who filled in at the last minute for Willie Lanier, who was under the weather. Willie, get better. We really missed you out here today. Pete Lansing, of course, made it possible for all of us. He really, I think, dug deep into his own pocket several times in order to make these broadcasts possible. If he hadn't, we would have been able to do it. And finally, a thanks to my wife, Christine, who always packs my lunch so that I can eat and stay here and talk. I'm Dave Bird for Willie Lanier and the Chippenham Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week. We'll see you next year right here on your same cable station.
Do you have your U-Crops valued customer card?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Saving money is as easy as child's play with U-Crops valued customer card.
Every home should have one.
Now's the time to be in touch with music at Don Warner Music. Check out the Series 10 electric guitar. Slim contour body, multiple pickups, fast action neck, complete with matrix amplifier, only $299. Or touch this Yamaha PRS 28 keyboard. Produce 99 different voice sounds or 16 different rhythm sounds. It also has a chord sequencer complete for only $299. So look to Don Warner for versatile, affordable guitars, drums, and keyboards. Come see why Don Warner Music rocks.